So the internet tends to be a smorgasbord of people hurling their emotional reactions and issues at each other. And one of those interesting issues that I've noticed is how some people will react to being corrected, meaning that if they say something and then someone else says, oh no, you spelled this wrong, or you misunderstood that word, or you used the incorrect term, most people are kind of okay with it, but some people kind of like lose it. They totally go off the handle and take it as a personal attack on their character when it's simply a correction. So it opened up a pretty interesting line of thought for me, is how many of us get offended by being corrected, and how many of us have misalignments within our definition of the word correct, correction, corrected. And I think that, I certainly can relate to it, because not in all circumstances, but in some circumstances, especially where I feel like I have a pretty solid understanding, a pretty solid knowledge base about something, if someone corrects me, very often my reaction to that correction is to feel small, to feel stupid, to feel inferior. And it's not that the person who was correcting me was intending to make me feel any way at all. They were simply giving me some information. But my response to that information turned into an emotional state, which is very interesting. Like, why am I reacting so emotionally to information? And why have I tied my self-definition and my self-worth into my knowledge base, so that the moment that someone tells me, oh no, this piece of knowledge and information that you have is not quite right, I take it as a personal, maybe not quite attack on my character, but I take it personally to the extent that I feel bad about myself. So I think that this is a very interesting dynamic, a very interesting pattern. And if you have experienced similar kind of reactions to being corrected, please do share. But for now, let's focus on the correction. What's the solution to this weird and nonsensical response to being corrected? So first of all, we can look into our definition of the word corrected and correction, where there may be layers of it that have misalignments, meaning that maybe there's some memories that we're holding on to where we were made to feel bad when we were being corrected. And that became a sort of a recurring theme, maybe not imposed by the world around us, but that we imposed on ourselves, where now suddenly when we get corrected, it means that we need to feel bad about ourselves, and we need to feel small and diminished and stupid. So it might be some memories that we're holding on to. It might be specific emotional states that we're holding on to, usually that were attached to specific memories. Once we've cleared our history with the word, we can look at, okay, what does that actually mean? What does the word correct and correction actually mean? And how can I integrate that into my life and into my daily understanding? A part of the process is also going to be real-time correction, meaning that in the moment that we need to correct ourselves, in the moment that we are experiencing an emotional reaction to being corrected, we need to face up to that, realize that that is the pattern that we've accessed in that moment. And interestingly enough, this particular relationship to the word may actually cause some challenges if we perceive ourselves as needing to correct ourselves. But if you need to kind of have a temporary workaround, then use a different word. Use the word solution for now. So the solution to that emotional response instead of correction. If you're still working through the misalignments in your definition, and if the word correction is still triggering responses, emotional responses within you. So in the moment where we have an emotional response to being corrected or trying to apply a correction, we need to be honest with ourselves that, okay, all right, I've fallen back into that pattern for the moment. What am I going to do next? Am I going to allow it to unfold further, and am I going to follow this track further down the road? Because I know where it's going to go. I know exactly where this is going to lead me. Or am I going to make a different choice? Am I going to practice the solution that I planned out for myself for this moment? And the solution can be maybe stopping for a moment to breathe, stopping for a moment to remind ourselves, okay, to be corrected doesn't mean that it's a reflection on who I am, and I know that I am working with this pattern of attaching being corrected to my self-definition. Let me breathe, let me let it go, let me forgive myself in this moment. And then take a step, and if the reaction is still there, pause again. Sometimes we need to take a few steps back. Solution is going to look different for every person. So test different approaches, different solutions to find what works best for you. But usually the key is to be aware of the pattern and to be aware of the moments, the situations in where it is likely to trigger. And usually that awareness is enough for us to kind of look at ourselves and go, you know what, I don't need to go down this road. I am not defined by the knowledge and information that I have within me. But again, different levels of extremity are going to have different challenges and different expressions and different experiences. So do what works for you. And if you need some ideas for different solutions, let me know. I am happy to help. I'm happy to discuss it with you. If you don't want it to be public, send me a direct message. So test it out and see what happens. Let me know. Thank you for watching. You're going to see me next time.